Hello YouTube friends, so I got something today that I'm really excited to talk about. As a lot of you know that follow my channel and interact in the comment section, you know I like to shoot a lot of 22s. So my last couple videos, I was fortunate enough to get a CZ457. The one I got was in the varmint configuration, just has a wood stock, it's not the HS Precision Trainer. Although the action and the barrel are the same on all of them except the MTR, which has a true match chamber. But I had to wait like a month, and I finally got it in and got the chance to go out and shoot it, and it just wasn't performing like I thought a $500 22 out of the box should. So I posted a video, and a lot of people posted in the comment section, you know, try this, make sure your action screws are torqued down to this setting, don't shoot off a bipod, so on and so forth. So I take a lot of that stuff in stride because you guys are out there and you shoot it, you know it works well. So I do it, and I made another video, and it just really wasn't shooting well for me. So rather than spend a whole bunch more time and energy and money on it, I decided to get rid of it. And with the money that I sold that with, I got this. What you have in front of you here is a Tikka T1X MTR. Now, I'm not super up to speed on the Tikka world. I know they're made by Seiko, but the more I dug into the forums, a lot of people said that these T1Xs are just straight up lights out. They shoot well. So I did some calling, I did some checking within every gun shop within about 50 miles. Nobody had one except all places Cabela's. So you know you're going to pay retail. So I called them, told them to hold it for me, went and got it, brought it home. Now, as you can see, it's not exactly in the factory configuration. The stock that comes on those is pretty crappy. It's just synthetic. I don't know what type of bedding it has, so I don't really care. I didn't even look. I didn't even shoot it with the factory stock on it. As soon as I picked it up, I ordered this chassis that you see here. It's made by KRG. This is a Bravo chassis. Now, the cool thing about these Tikka T1Xs is they fit the Tikka T3 footprint. So that really opens up the aftermarket for everything. It takes the same trigger, same chassis, same whatever. And another thing that I like about these Tikkas out of the box is it comes with a 10-round mag. Now, the CZs, I guess they're figuring their fan base has enough money to buy 10-round mags because it only comes with 5. And not a lot of people are going to want to pay $35 for a 10-round magazine. But anyway, it only comes with 1, but it is 10 rounds. I've got about 400 to 500 rounds through this so far, and I've had no feeding issues. I have had a couple failure ejects, but it's not as frequent as the Ruger Precision Rimfire. But I'm not going to go super in-depth on the specs on this. I will talk a little bit about how it is here and what I've done to it so far, but I kind of want to get straight into how it performed with the ammo. This trigger is adjustable only for pull weight. The new CZ457s you can adjust for pull weight, length of travel, over travel. I think you can adjust them 3 ways. This one you can only adjust for pull weight. Now, I think they rate it down to 2 pounds. Well, I have the pound screw out as far as it can go, and I just want to show you guys here. I have my Lyman trigger gauge, and again, it's adjusted down as far as it can go. Just want to go ahead and give you a sample pull here. .3 ounces. Now, I did an average of 10 pulls, and it came out to like 9.6. This trigger is amazing. It's crisp. There's no creep. It breaks like glass. Out of all the rifles that I've owned, I've never had anything that breaks like this, at least out of the box. And that's going to come into play a little bit here when I show you the groups, because it did kind of come back to bite me a little bit. I like a light trigger, but this one's really light, so I might have to push that thing back in a couple turns. So what else I got here? I got the Atlas bipod, which is as solid as a rock. I mean, I just want to eliminate myself as much as possible, and I feel like it does that. I got an Area 419 30 MOA scope base. Am I an Area 419 fanboy? Yes. It's got the new Vortex Pro Series rings. This one's in low configuration. I think they're like 0.90 inches or something like that. And the glass was something a little bit different. I've always bought Vortex because I know them. They perform, lifetime warranty. I love minutes. So this one, I read a lot about it, and everybody loved it. So this one is the SLX6, and the reticle is the Athena BPR in mils. Now, it's going to take a little bit for me to get used to mils, but so far I like it. Tracks well. I haven't done a tracking test. I mean, I never do a tracking test, but it goes where you click it. It's kind of like the razor style turrets where you have to pull them up to dial in, and then you push them back down and they lock. They're not, I wouldn't say they're mushy. They're not quite as crisp as a razor, but again, that's half the price, more than half the price actually. And then they're not as easy to push down, but you know, it's a $500 scope, first focal plane, 3/18. The glass clarity is amazing. It's got an illuminated reticle. It performs really well. Now I know it's too much to go for a 22, but I decided to go with it because I wanted to try something new, and so far I've been very pleased with it. It's amazing. Other than that, that's about all the changes that I made to the rifle. As you'll notice, the barrel is not exactly a heavy barrel. They call it a medium contour or a hunting contour or something like that. But it's about as thick as a heavy barrel at the chamber, which is good, and it's threaded. The same threads as all the other 22 calibers, so it'll take your muzzle devices or your suppressors or whatever you want to put on it. And another cool thing about this rifle, it doesn't have a 60-degree throw. It's got 45-degree. Now, it's really short, very smooth action, but when you get into that short of a throw, it's doing a lot shorter time. So when it resets the firing pin and all that, it's going to be a little bit heavier. It didn't affect it too much, but you're probably going to have to manipulate your rifle a little bit more with such a short throw. Now, I'll show you again here. I mean, it's very, very short, very smooth. Here's the magazine. As you can see, 10 rounds. It is plastic, so I mean, you're probably not going to run over it with your truck or your car or whatever, but so far, I've had no feeding issues, nothing along those lines. Okay, so enough about the rifle. If you guys want more information on that, you can probably just YouTube it. There's tons of people that go over the specs, so on and so forth. Tried 8 ammos today, 8 different types, rather. And I'll go worst to first. All these are shot at 50 yards. I follow the same format that I do in a lot of my other comparisons where I'll shoot 25 for fouling, 25 for group, and then I'll run the bore snake through it about 4 or 5 times between each round of ammo. So because 22 fouling's big and it gets dirty, and I just wanted to eliminate all aspects as possible. So worst to first one I shot was Remington Thunderbolt, and as a lot of you know, it's geared, as far as I know, more towards the auto loading platform. It's pretty shit ammo. I didn't have a chronograph with me today, so I couldn't see the velocities, but you shoot 22s enough, you can go off the sound of which ones might be a little bit over pressured and under pressured, and then in your groups they'll tighten up accordingly. So I just want to show you the first one here. So again, on the left, fouling, on the right, shooting for groups. Now this one averaged 3.34, and I have to say that I need to apologize because in my 2 previous CZ videos, I said that since 50 yards, half an inch is considered an MOA for 22. Well, I multiplied those numbers, but I forgot to actually write those numbers down on the paper. And I was going to compare these, and I was like, there's no way, because the CZ shot terrible. It's like, there's no way these are better. So I was looking at them, I was like, oh, well, I forgot to multiply that by 2. So in these, I actually did. So these are true 250 yard for a 22. And for reference, the red dots in the center are half an inch. So as you can see here, I didn't expect it to shoot it good. It shot it better than I thought it would, actually, because Thunderbolt's such a shit ammo. Top one, had a flyer, and you'll see that throughout these groups and ammos, with this particular rifle, 3 to 4 on each one would normally be touching with when I call a flyer. It's not much of a flyer with the good ammo here and there, and that stayed true to most of it. So as you can see, I mean, it's 3.334, not amazing, but what do you expect with such shit ammo? It's fun to go out and shoot beer cans with your wife or your whoever, or your kids. But if you're doing precision stuff, you're not going to want to use this. So, and it is supersonic, so not too bad. Pretty good, couple good fouling groups there. But anyway, Thunderbolt at 50 yards. Pretty much what you'd expect. Next, something I love shooting, especially 300 yards and beyond. It's cheap. Aguila Super Extra. Again, these groups are at 50 yards. Fouling on the left, shooting for groups on the right. Average 3.2 MOA, and again, As you can see here, you'll have 3 or 4 that are touching damn near the same hole, and you'll have one that goes somewhere for some reason. The conditions today, I live in Ohio, it was cold, probably about 35 degrees, and the wind was consistently 5 to 6 miles an hour. I would say half value. I mean, it was affecting it a little bit. You could tell when it gusted up and when it didn't, but it wasn't too much of a factor for me to stop shooting. Averaged 3.2 minutes. Bottom group's pretty good. I mean, like I said, you have 3 to 4 touching, and then you have one that's out in left field somewhere that really ups your MOA rating. Second one from the down's pretty good, from the top rather, 1.6. I mean, that's not bad. I really wanted to go through and compare him to the CZ, but like I said, I didn't multiply him by 2, and I got lazy. So, not bad. Aguila Super Extra, it's like $1.50 for 50 or something like that. It's cheap. Again, this is a supersonic round, so not bad. Another supersonic round, one of my personal favorites for shooting, again, over 300 yards, Eley Force. It's 42 grain bullet. It shot okay for me through most rifles. My Ruger Precision rifle shoots it okay. Average 2.8. And again, as you can see, it's 3 or 4 touching in every one, and you'll have that flyer that just really ups the rating. Especially the bottom one. I mean, that one's out in left field somewhere. I don't know what happened. It was probably me. So, 1.44, 1.44. I mean, it shoots pretty good. I'm not going to buy this to shoot all the time because it is fairly expensive, but Eley Force at 50 yards. The bottom group on the left for fouling was pretty good. And I will say that for the fouling portion of these, I do go through fairly fast because I just want to get the rounds through the barrel, and it was cold today, and I was kind of crunched for time, and I was just fatigued from shooting like 400 rounds. I think I have a reticle burn in my eye because I shot so much today. But anyway, not bad. You can see here. Next, Federal Auto Match, Walmart brand. Shoots okay. Fouling on the left, 50 yards. The first group, I was like, oh man, this is going to shoot great. I mean, you can see here, that's one jagged hole. Next one down, here you have it again, 3 or 4 touching, and the one that's flying. Same thing with the one after that. Just doubles the MOA rating. And again, as you can see in the bottom one, it goes somewhere else, and I don't think it was me. And I can say that with the CZ, a lot of times I can tell when it was my fault or the wind or something, not the rifle. And a lot of times when I was shooting, I was like, I know I did everything right, trigger pull, so on and so forth, and it was just all over the place. On this one, I know when I make a mistake, it's normally me. So this is the white box stuff. I think it comes in 325 rounds. You can pick it up for like $12 or $17 or whatever it is. I don't buy anything from Walmart anymore, but probably order it offline for pretty cheap. Top group's really good. I was really happy with it. So I ran out of it. Probably buy more, but not bad. Next, SK Standard Yellow. Stuff shot pretty good. As you can see, the fouling groups are good. Okay, so in the beginning, I talked about how light the trigger was. In the third group down on the right, you can see that I crossed out a round. Now, normally, I would say I shot it, I have to measure it. Well, I wasn't even ready. I wasn't even close to trying to shoot this one. I had an oh shit moment and just pulled the trigger a little bit too early. I mean, I don't know what happened. Like I said, long day. It was no fault to the rifle whatsoever. There was no wind, anything like that. That was 1,000% my oops. So I crossed it out, put another round in the mag, and shot it, and it ended up being really pretty good. I mean, as you can see there. So again, this SK Standard, I think it's a little expensive. I expected it to perform a little bit better than this, but you know, the numbers speak for themselves. 2.14, not bad. So next, I got CCI Standard Velocity, which is my favorite that I always go to. All 3 of my rifles shoot it somewhat decent. I mean, I'm not expecting to go out and get half a minute with this, but it's cheap. I have thousands of rounds of it. I really like shooting it. So it performed about like I'd expect it to. As you can see, most of them are 3 or 4 touching with one that goes somewhere else. The fourth group down on the right the first 3 went through the same hole. And then I think I got a little excited or nervous or something, even though I was by myself, and I pulled the other 2. So not indicative of how this rifle shoots. I think that was on me. But as you can see, not too bad. I mean, CCI Standard Velocity is pretty good for the money. It's pretty consistent, and I love it. So, let me see. Next is Eley Target. This is probably the most expensive ammo that I shot today. I unfortunately didn't have any Center X because I wasted it on that CZ457. My Ruger Precision Rimfire loves this. Shoots it about as close to minute as I can get. Eley Target, 50 yards. Again, the top group, like I said, the trigger was so light. I had an oh shit moment, was not ready, was not shooting for group. Oops. So I crossed it out and put another one through it. Shot pretty well. 3 or 4 touching. I mean, it shoots well. Average 1.91. It's a little bit expensive to go out and pling, but if you're shooting matches or shooting for competition, I would probably go with this. So as you can see here, it's shoots pretty well. So the last round of the ammo that I got to test today was CCI Green Tag. Now Green Tag has not performed well for me out of any 22 that I have had. But I had some still, and I shot it out of this, and to my surprise, it ended up being the best, which is 1.48. As you can see, again, 3 to 4 touching with a flyer. Me or the rifle, I don't know. Velocity is usually pretty consistent. I haven't had this stuff out the distance, so I don't really know well how it performs after 300 yards. But out of this gun, it shot really well. So I think it's fairly affordable. Maybe like 17 for 100 or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while since I bought it. I just had it on the shelf, and so the top group, I mean, that was pretty good. I think that was about as close to minute actual grouping as I shot today. And I gotta say, like I said, I was shooting off an Atlas bipod, and I had my Armageddon rear bag. This is as good as I can shoot without putting these in a lead sled or something, but this is real world, real time. You're not going to have a lead sled when you're out shooting competition or when you're on a range or anything like that, so this is pretty much as good as I can do. So my final thoughts, this compared to all of the other rimfire rifles that I've shot, the action is very smooth, very short throw. The trigger is probably the best out of the box out of any gun that I own. The barrel's a little thin. It does kind of look a little funny in this chassis, but when it shoots as well as it does, you kind of look past that. And I would recommend this rifle to anybody. And I think I said in the beginning I paid around $469 for it or something like that. And it shoots as you would expect a $500 .22 to shoot. And I'm overall happy with it. I'm really looking forward to trying more types of ammo and getting it out to distance. I shot 319 yards today at a 6-inch plate, and it was really windy, and I was only getting a couple hits. But it was the wind was really starting to pick up and swirl, so I stopped. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting it out there. My goal is 500 yards on the 6-inch plate, but we'll see. As usual, I really appreciate the interaction in the comment section, and you guys are great with the advice, and I just like that. So if you have any questions or want to see something else out of this, just drop a comment or anything, and I love to talk to you guys. So again, thanks for watching, and good luck.